Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, devotees, Pranam, Yeshua Prabhupada, Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namah Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Anybody would like to sing the prayer today?
I can try, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Shri Mataji. Okay.
Okay.
I have the link in the chat and I'll also share.
Agre Kurunamata Pandavanam Dushasaneharitavastrakesha Krishna Tadakroshadayananyanatha Govinda Damodar Madhaveti Shri Krishna Vishnu Madhukaita Bhare Bhaktanukampin Bhagavan Murare त्रायस्व माम केशवलोकनाथ गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति विक्रेतु कामा किल गोपकन्या मुरारिपादार्पितचित्तवृत्तिः दद्यादिकं मोहवशादवोचद् गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति उल्लूखले सम्भृततण्डुलांश्च सङ्घाटयन्त्यो मुसलैः प्रमुग्धाः गायन्ति गोप्यो जनितानुरा गायन्ति गोप्यो जनितानुरागा गोविन्ददामोदर माधवेति काचित् कराम्भोजपुते निसानं क्रीडाशुकं किं शुकरक्ततुण्डम् अध्यापयामास सरोरुहाक्षी गोविन्ददामोदर माधवेति गृहे गृहे गोपवधूसमूहा प्रतीक्षणं पिञ्जरशारिकानं स्खलद्गिरं वाचयितुं प्रवृत्तो गोविन्ददामोदर माधवेति पर्यङ्किकाभाजम् अलं कुमारं प्रस्वापयन्त्योऽखिलगोपकन्या जगुप्रबन्धं स्वरतालबन्धं गोविन्ददामोदर माधवेति रामानुजं वीक्षणकेलिलोलं गोपीगृहीत्वा नवनीतगोलम् आबालकं बालकमाजुहाव गोविन्ददामोदर माधवेति विचित्रवर्णाभरणाभिरामे विधेहि वक्त्राम्बुजराजहंसे सदा मदीये रसनगृहरङ्गे गोविन्ददामोदर माधवेति अङ्कादिरूढं शिशुगोपगूढं स्तनं दयन्तं कमलैककान्तं सम्बोधयामास मुदा यशोदा गोविन्ददामोदर माधवेति गोविन्ददामोदर माधवेति गोविन्ददामोदर माधवेति हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. श्री बिल्व मंगल ठाकुर की जय। श्री गोविंद गोविंद दामोदर स्तोत्रम की जय। श्री माता जी की जय।
Krishna friends ki jai.
Read the translations. Very nicely recited, Mataji.
Yeah.
I'm here at the Sadhu Sanga. I'm going to recommend. Thank Shri Mataji is coming.
Oh
Do the
my God.
kirtan today.
Then it would be you leading, Prabhuji. Your voice is really, really mesmerizing.
Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll read the translation. Anybody would like to read the translation? Yes, I will do it.
I can read, Prabhuji, if
You can
nobody's.
read it? Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Mataji.
Before the assembled Kurus and Pandavas, when Dushasan caught her hair and clothing, Krishna, Draupadi, having no other lord, cried out, Govinda, Damodar, Madhava. O Lord Krishna, Vishnu, enemy of the Madhu and Kaitaba demons, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, enemy of Mura, merciful upon the devotees, O Keshav, Lord of the worlds, Govinda, Damodar, Madhava, please deliver me. Though desiring to sell milk, dahi, butter, etc., the mind of a young gopi was so absorbed in the lotus feet of Krishna that instead of calling out milk for sale, she bewilderedly said, Govinda, Damodar, and Madhava. Their grinding motors full of grains, the gopis' minds are overcome as they thresh with their pestles singing Govinda, Damodar, Madhava. A lotus-eyed girl instructed the red-beaked pet parrot that was seated in the cup of her lotus hand. She said, Govinda, Damodar, Madhava. In each and every house, a bevy of Gopa women is engaged in making the caged parrots constantly utter with broken words Govinda, Damodar, and Madhava. With a little boy lying in the swing, all of the gopis used to expertly sing compositions set to musical notes and rhythm. They went Govinda, Damodar, Madhava while putting him to rest. The younger brother of Balram, playing mischievously, was dodging about her with restless eyes, taking a ball of fresh butter to lure him over. That gopi called him, O Govinda, Damodar, Madhava. O my tongue, since my mouth has become like a lotus by dint of the presence there of these eloquent, ornamental, delightful syllables, you are like the swan that plays there. As your foremost pleasure, always articulate the names Govinda, Damodar, and Madhava. The one and only Lord of Lakshmi, in the form of a little cowherd baby, sat on your mother Yashoda lap, drinking her breast milk. Merged in bliss, she addressed him as Govinda, Damodar, and Madhava. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
It may not be as good as Meenu Mataji making like different tones.
Yes, I was literally seeing if it was she who was saying that or was it really a parrot who came outside and was saying, Govinda. Hopefully, I'll find that parrot today in Florida, not in Orlando. Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you once again, Shri Mataji. It was very nicely recited, and thank you for the translations also. Okay, so we'll continue with our reading of Shri Prabhupada Lilamrit. Yesterday, we saw Prabhupada was um, performing his historical ecstatic kirtan, Sankirtan in the Tompkins Square Park. Like we were saying, it was really vividly bringing forth memories of Sadhu Sangha. It was almost like where the first Sadhu Sangha had started in, in New York City, in the Tompkins Square Park with the Sankirtan, everybody coming together and enjoying the Sankirtan, the music, the melodies, the mood, the mellows, and of course the dancing, and all the different kinds of people who are coming, sitting around, or singing, or chanting, or dancing, as well as all the different musical instruments we saw, whether it was mouth organs, or flutes, or guitars, or saxophone. So, again, in Sadhu Sangha, we have all kinds of musical instruments on the stage and devotees playing all kinds of musical instruments. It just adds to the uh, the depth of what Krishna consciousness is and what Sankirtan and Bhakti is, because you can actually engage anything and everything in the service of the Lord. So that is kind of the mood that Prabhupada set when he started this almost 60 years ago. And today, yeah, it's continuing by the mercy of him and by his mercy as well as the predecessor acharyas, that his disciples are able to continue forward, his disciples and grand disciples. Actually, I was here downstairs today because I didn't want to disturb anybody in the room, so I just came down and I was here, and then suddenly I just stepped out there and I saw, kartals have already started playing in the background. People have not come yet. I mean, some devotees may be here, but of course there are a lot of other people, and this is a big, very big resort. So it's like there are a lot of people here, and yeah, it was only 5 or 5:15 in the morning when I stepped out. That time it was not, but I think just 15 minutes ago, when I went outside, there's kartals and going on. So it looks like good positive vibrations are already started to flow, and we are expecting many more devotees to join today. So okay, so we'll see what Prabhupada continued here in the Tompkins Square Park. So we can read for a few minutes and then we'll pause for today. Okay, I can continue reading here. So the harmonium played a constant drone, and a boy wearing a military fatigue jacket improvised atonal creations on a wooden recorder. Yet the total sound of the instruments blended, and Swamiji's voice emerged above the mulling tones of each chord. And so it went for hours. Prabhupada held his head and shoulders erect, although at the end of each line of the mantra, he would sometimes shrug his shoulders before he started the next line. His disciples stayed close by him, sitting on the same rug, religious ecstasy visible in their eyes. Finally, he stopped. Immediately, he stood up, and they knew he was going to speak. It was 4 o'clock, and the warm autumn sun was still shining on the park. The atmosphere was peaceful, and the audience attentive and mellow from the concentration on the mantra. He began to speak to them, thanking everyone for joining the Kirtana. The chanting of the Hare Krishna, he said, had been introduced 500 years ago in West Bengal by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare means, O energy of the Lord. Krishna is the Lord, and Rama is also a name of the Supreme Lord, meaning the highest pleasure. His disciples sat at his feet, listening. Rayaram squinted through his shielding hand into the sun to see Swamiji, and Kirtananda's head was cocked to one side, like a bird's who is listening to the ground. He stood erect by the stout oak, his hands folded loosely before him, in a proper speaker's posture, his light saffron robes covering him gracefully. The tree behind him seemed perfectly placed, and the sunshine dappled leafy shadows against the thick trunk. Behind him, through the grove of the trees, was the steeple of St. Brigid's. On his right was a dumpy, middle aged woman wearing a dress and a hairdo that had been out of style in the United States for 25 years. On his left was a bold looking hippie girl in tight denims, and beside her, a young black man in a black sweater, his arms folded across his chest. Next was a young father holding an infant, then a bearded young street sadhu, his long hair parted in the middle, and two ordinary, short haired middle class men and their young female companions. Many in the crowd, although standing close by, became distracted, looking off here and there. Prabhupada explained that there are three platforms: sensual, mental, and intellectual. And above them is the spiritual platform. The chanting of Hare Krishna is on the spiritual platform, and it is the best process for reviving our eternal blissful consciousness. He invited everyone to attend the meetings at 26 Second Avenue and concluded his brief speech by saying, "Thank you very much. Please chant with us." Then he sat down, took the drum, and began the Kirtan again. If it were risky for a 71-year-old man to thump a drum and shout so loud, then he would take that risk for Krishna. It was too good to stop. He had come far from Vrindavan, survived the non Krishna Yoga Society, waited all winter in obscurity. America had waited hundreds of years with no Krishna chanting. No Hare Krishna had come from Thoreau's or Emerson's appreciations, although they had pored over English translations of the Gita and the Puranas. And no Kirtana had come from Vivekananda's famous speech on behalf of Hinduism at the World Parliament of Religions in Chicago in 1893. So now that he finally had Krishna Bhakti going, flowing like the Ganges to the sea. It could not stop. In his heart, he felt the infinite love, infinite will of Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, to deliver the fallen souls. He knew this was the desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his own spiritual master, even though caste conscious Brahmanas in India would disapprove of his associating with such untouchables as these drug mad American meat eaters and their girlfriends. But Swamiji explained that he was in full accord with the scriptures. The Bhagavatam had clearly stated that Krishna consciousness should be delivered to all races. Everyone was a spiritual soul, and regardless of birth, they could be brought to the highest spiritual platform by chanting the holy name. Never mind, whatever sinful things they were doing, these people were perfect candidates for Krishna consciousness. Tompkins Square Park was Krishna's plan. It was also part of the earth, and these people were members of the human race, and the chanting of Hare Krishna was the dharma of the age. Walking back home in the early evening, past the shops and crowded tenements, followed by more than a dozen interested new people from the park, the Swami again sustained occasional shouts and taunts, but those who followed him from the park were still feeling the aura of an ecstasy that easily tolerated a few taunts from the street. Prabhupada especially was undisturbed. As he walked with his head high, not speaking, he was gravely absorbed in his thoughts, and yet his eyes actively noticed people and places and exchanged glances with those whom he passed on his way along 7th Street, past the churches and funeral homes, across First Avenue to the noisy, heavily trafficked Second Avenue, then down Second past liquor stores, coin laundries, delicatessens, past the Iglesia Alianza Cristiana Missionera, the Kohinoor Intercontinental Restaurant Palace, then past the Church of the Nativity, and finally back home to number 26. There was a crowd of people from the park standing on the sidewalk outside the storefront, young people waiting for him to arrive and unlock the door to matchless gifts. They wanted to know more about the dance and the chant and the elderly Swami and his disciples who had created such a beautiful scene in the park. They filled the storefront. Outside on the sidewalk, the timid or uncommitted loitered near the door or window, smoking and waiting, or peering in and trying to see the paintings on the wall. Swamiji entered and walked directly to his dais and sat down before the largest gathering that had ever graced his temple. He spoke further of Krishna consciousness, the words coming as naturally as breathing as he quoted the Sanskrit authority behind what they had all been experiencing in the park. Just as they had all chanted today, he said, so everyone should chant always. A long haired girl sitting close to Swamiji's dais raised her hand and asked, seemingly in trance, when I am chanting, I feel a great concentration of energy on my forehead, and then a buzzing comes and a reddish light. Just keep on chanting, Swamiji replied. It will clear up. Well, what does the chanting produce? She seemed to be coming out of her trance now. Chanting produces chanting, he replied. Just as when you are calling the name of your beloved, if there is someone you love very much, then you want to repeat his name again and again. It is out of love. A man spoke up without raising his hand. But isn't it just a kind of hypnotism on sound? Like if I chanted Coca Cola over and over, wouldn't it be the same? No, Prabhupada replied. You take any word, repeat it for 10 minutes, and you will feel disgusted. But when we chant 24 hours and we don't feel tired, oh, we feel new energy. The question seemed more relevant today. The guests had all been chanting in the park, and now they were probing philosophically into what they had experienced. The Swami's followers marked this as a victory, and then they felt some responsibility as hosts and guides for the others. Swamiji had asked Kirtananda to prepare some prasadam for the guests, and soon Kirtananda appeared with small paper cups of sweet rice for everyone. The chanting process is just to cleanse the mind, said Prabhupada. We have so many misunderstandings about ourselves, about this world, about God, and about the relationships between these things. We have so many misgivings. This chanting will help to cleanse the mind. Then you will understand that this chanting is not different from Krishna. A boy who was accompanying the long haired girl spoke out incoherently. Yes, no, I, Prabhupada. Yes, yes, yes. In the beginning, we have to chant. We may be in whatever position we are. It doesn't matter. If you begin chanting, the first benefit will be Cheto Darpana Marjanam. The mind will be clear of all dirty things. And the next stage will be that the sufferings, the miseries of this material world will subside. Boy, well, I don't quite understand what the material world is because, Prabhupada, the material world is full of sufferings and miseries. Don't you understand that? Are you happy? Boy, sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm not. Prabhupada, no, you are not happy. That sometimes is your imagination. Just like a diseased man says, oh, yes, I'm well. What is that well? He is going to die. And is he well? Boy, I don't claim any ultimate happiness. Prabhupada, no, you do not know what happiness is. Boy, but it is greater or lesser. Prabhupada, yes, you do not know what is happiness. An older man standing with his arm folded near the rear of the temple. Well, of course, that sorrow or that suffering might add the spice to make that suffering that goes in between seem happiness. Prabhupada, no. The thing is that there are different kinds of miseries that we all understand. It is only due to our ignorance that we don't care for it. Just like a man who is suffering for a long time, he has forgotten what is real happiness. Similarly, the sufferings are there already. For example, and he directed himself to the young man with his girlfriend. Take, for example, that you are a young man. Now, would you like to become an old man? Boy, I will become an old man in the process of Prabhupada. You will become means you will be forced to become an old man, but you don't like to become an old man. Boy, I'm not going to be forced to become an old man. Prabhupada, yes, yes, forced. You will be forced. Prabhupada, boy, I don't see why. Prabhupada, if you don't want to become an old man, you will be forced to become an old man. Boy, it's one of the conditions of Prabhupada. Yes, that condition is miserable. Boy, I find it not miserable, Prabhupada, because you are a young man, but ask any old man how he is suffering. You see, a diseased man. Do you want to be diseased? Boy, I wouldn't search it out, Prabhupada. Hmm? Boy, I wouldn't search it out, Prabhupada. No, no, just answer me. Do you like to be diseased? Boy, what is disease? Prabhupada, just answer. Why? What is disease? Prabhupada, oh, you have never suffered from disease? You have never suffered from any disease? Prabhupada looks dramatically incredulous. Boy, I have had the mumps and the measles and whooping cough, which is what everyone has, and you get over it. Some people in the audience laugh. Prabhupada, everyone may be suffering, but that does not mean that it is not suffering. We have to admit that we are all always in suffering. Boy, if I have never known happiness, I feel sure I have never known suffering either. Prabhupada, that is due to your ignorance. We are in suffering. We don't want to die, but death is there. We don't want to be diseased, but disease is there. We don't want to become old. Old age is there. We don't want so many things, but they are forced upon us. And any sane man will admit that these are sufferings. But if you are accustomed to take these sufferings, then you say it is all right. But any sane man won't like to be diseased. He won't like to be old. And he won't like to die. Why do you have this peace movement? Because if there is war, there will be death. So people are afraid. They are making agitation. There should be no war. Do you think that death is a very pleasurable thing? Boy, I have never experienced. Prabhupada, you have experienced and forgotten. Many times you have died. You have experienced, but you have forgotten. Forgetfulness is no excuse. Suppose a child forgot some suffering. That does not mean he did not suffer. Why? No, I agree. I agree. Prabhupada, yes. So suffering is there. You have to take direction from realized souls, from authorities. Just like in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. This world is full of miseries, so one has to realize it. Unless we understand that this place is miserable, there is no question of how to get out of it. A person who doesn't develop this understanding is not fully developed. Just like the animals, they do not understand what misery is. They are satisfied. It was late when he finally returned to his apartment. One of the boys brought him a cup of hot milk, and someone remarked they should do the chanting in the park every week. Every day, he replied. Even while half a dozen people were present, he lay down on his thin mat. He continued to speak for some minutes, and then his voice trailed off, preaching in fragmented words. He appeared to doze. It was 10 o'clock. They tiptoed out, softly shutting the door. Hare Krishna. This is a good point to pause for today. you so much. Yes, anybody would like to share anything that they liked from today's reading? Why do you think? Yeah, I was again, like I said, we at least I reached. I know some of other devotees or many devotees were traveling. I think this time we have one of the largest groups from Cincinnati, almost I think it was close to 35, 40 members who are going to be here without kids. So I think it's going to be almost half a century, 50 years since Prabhupada blessed us or left us. But yeah, we'll be a strong congregation as well as a lot of other devotees we know from close by, from Indiana, Kentucky, and many other devotees from different congregations around the country are coming, as well as from the world are coming. So yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing Sadhu Sangha 2025. But yeah, the class here that Prabhupada is giving and having this exchange also reminds me again, like here we have, when we have Prabhupada's disciples, Sachinandan Swami Maharaj, Indira Swami Maharaj, Bibi Govinda Swami Maharaj, and Radhanath Swami, and many, many other exalted Vaishnavas. Um, it's a full day of bliss and bhakti, starting with Mangalarti. Today, of course, is the first day. I think this will all start in the evening, but starting from tomorrow, it will be Mangalarti at 4:15, and then there will be morning program, artis, and then the japas, and then start the morning Bhagavatam class. But even during the kirtans, I remember how Sachinandan Maharaj would come, and he would share these anecdotes, and he would share the importance and significance of chanting and sankirtan. So it just reminded me of the same thing, that how Prabhupada here is trying to explain the philosophy, trying to explain the mood behind chanting of the holy names. So yeah, a lot of things. I don't know whether we'll be able to continue, because I think most of the devotees who will be here may probably be in the japa, or there may be some japa walks. So I'll see. I'll discuss with Vishwanath Prabhu, but I would recommend those who are there, if you want to continue with the japa and reading, if you would like, please do continue. But if not, I think it will probably be Tuesday before we can restart our morning japa call again. Uh, so anyway, so those are some thoughts. Anything anybody else would like to share anything from today's reading or anything in general?
Yes, Prabhu. Just like how that man was saying that, is it like if I chant like Coca-Cola, is it the same thing? So it just reminded me that sometimes I just listen to so many Bollywood music, and then I'm so addicted to sometimes one song that I keep on, listening to it on repeat. And then after like 1 or 2 days, I'm like, okay, now I have to stop this song, and then I move to some kirtan or some bhajan, and it just changes the mood, after that, like it just makes you feel so peaceful. So yeah, I can relate to what Prabhupada was saying.
Yes. Yeah, it is better to not better, it is best, right? Uh, to, of course, sing kirtan, and we have so many melodies, like we were saying, thousands of melodies, maybe millions of melodies, which we have only heard so many. But maybe one day when we go back to spiritual world, maybe there will be billions and trillions and gazillions of melodies that we can sing in. But yeah, so many different tunes and kirtans that Prabhupada and his disciples have given us, and even Indra Prabhu, Sripad Indra Prabhu, we led 24 hours on kirtan and Vrindavan Dham. His melodies are amazing. So yeah, there's so much to listen to within kirtan itself, that there is no time to do anything else. But yes, actually, that what you said reminded me when my very first few maybe days or months of Krishna consciousness, when I joined back till 12 years ago. I had similar things, like, because I would love listening to some of Bollywood. I'm not every song, but some songs, like, they would be very um, they would just touch your heart, just good feelings about the song, etc. So I would just think about that, and then I would talk to my god brother and say, why can't we use the song in the service? I don't like trying to remember any song at this point, but oh, there was one, this Kailash Kher song, like, Heere Moti Main Na Chahun, Main To Chahun Sangam Tera. So like I would always say, why can't, for me, when I sing that song, I can think of Krishna and I'll say, I don't want any of these material things. I just want, I like, मैं तो चाहूँ संगम तेरा. And then there he says, Saiya, Saiya, instead of Saiya, I'll say, Kanhaiya, Kanhaiya, right? So, those were my early days. And, uh, yeah, it's also kind of the Vairagya. You can use anything, like Prabhupada was saying, use anything and everything in the service of the Lord. When you make it in the service of the Lord, then it does. But still, I think those songs, of course, will pull you down, eventually. So um, better as always to, because like I said, not, there are so many kirtans, there are so many wonderful bhajans that we sing every single morning. If we want to sing something, we should always sing one of these bhajans, one few 5, 10 that we have close to our heart. And yes, that way we can fulfill our desires of singing and also chanting the holy names of the Lord, because eventually that is what will go with us, right? And all these other mundane songs will just pull us down, or will just keep us here in the material realm. But the names of the Lord that we chant is the real spiritual treasure, that or the bank balance that we call, will go with us. So why not spend every second that we have in chanting the holy names? Yes. Thank you for sharing, Shri Mataji.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like the energy is going down, whenever I'm trying to listen to those songs, I just feel that. And sometimes if I cannot, like, just how you told, like, I just think of Krishna, sometimes if I'm like, okay, I have to listen to the song, or if I'm in a situation where I have to, like, the other people are playing that song and I have to listen, then I'm like, okay, let me think of Krishna. At least that way I'm trying to connect to him, at least, instead of just listening and thinking about anything else. Yep.
Mm,
Yep.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, and even George Harrison, like he composed that wonderful song, My Sweet Lord. At least, yeah. So that the consciousness was there of Krishna. But yeah, so when we can, I'm not saying it is not, at least the songs that were composed thinking of the Lord, yeah, we can also sing those if we really want to sing something else. But yeah, okay. Uh, all right. Anybody else would like to share anything? Anandini Mataji, you're coming this evening, right? Yes, I saw your message.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu, we will come by 10 p.m.
Oh, 10 p.m. Okay. Yeah, we reached last night around 11 o'clock here.
Okay, that's
Mm,
wonderful.
yeah.
Yes, Prabhu, we will connect with you tomorrow, Saturday morning then, once we
Yes.
get home.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you. Have a
Okay.
wonderful, wonderful day today with Kirtans. I think it starts in the, is it after 2
Evening,
p.m.?
I think after Prashad, I think it's 6. Yeah,
Okay,
dinner, Prashad, 6 or 7. I think it's at 6, I think.
okay, 6 p.m. Okay, very good.
Mm,
Wonderful.
yes. Yeah.
Hare
See you.
Krishna.
And yeah. Meenu Mataji, I'll talk to Vishnu Prabhu also and see. But yeah, if you would like to continue with the chanting next 3 days, you are welcome to.
Sure,
Uh,
Prabhuji.
yeah. And then they will probably restart the uh, reading, or at least I will rejoin from Tuesday.
Can you send, so maybe we can do the screenshot. Where are we starting from? Did we do the October 10th? Is that where we
No,
can
no, yeah, we
start?
are starting. We will do from October 10th. So if you
Okay.
want to read, yeah, from here
Uh,
is when
sure,
we'll start.
Prabhuji. I can see how many participants we have, and then I might not be able to start at 4:30, but
That's okay.
I will
Yeah,
try.
you can do the japa in the
Yeah.
morning, and then whatever time you start, and you just have to click the Zoom link and it should start.
Ji,
Then
Prabhuji. Thank you.
thank you so much for your wonderful service. While many of us are here, you will be serving tirelessly there. So thank you for your service and all the other devotees there.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, we'll conclude with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, प्रभुपाद लीलामृत की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्णा।
Have a great day, everyone, and enjoy Sadhu Sangha.
Yes.
Bring back that positive vibration to all of us and
Yeah.
bless us all. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.